Well, howdy, y'all. Why'd I say y'all for? I'm not Southern. But anyway, it's time for another DVD and Blu Ray update. I haven't done one of these, in over a month. So, got quite a stack here. So, let's roll the intro and get right into it. Got quite a stack here if you'll take a look here and see. Yeah, that's what I've all got to talk about, so move that out of the way. I don't know why that's there. But first off, a movie I saw back in November. I didn't think this was out already. I thought it had a while to come out, but it's Thor: The Dark World. Yeah, I saw this back in November, I believe. Move that back over here. Yeah, really good movie. I really enjoyed this one a little bit more than I enjoyed the first Thor movie. So, yeah, this is the first Thor officially released by Disney under their Marvel exclusive brand. So, yeah, Thor: The Dark World. I was surprised there wasn't a slipcover to this. But maybe another store has it. I went to Best Buy for this, but this only the 3D version had the slipcover. So, yeah, Thor: The Dark World. Now, a lot of this in this collection are upgrades. So, I've made my own copy pack. My DVD and Blu-ray combo packs. So, and we'll start off with a couple of them. Got MASH. Got it at Best Buy for $7.99. I actually wanted this on Blu-ray when I first got the movie, but I can only find the DVD at the time. But yeah, here's MASH. And this, of course, is the original movie, not the TV show. So, next up, and this has to be in my collection because from Indiana, shot here in Indiana, and it's about Indiana basketball. Hoosiers. Yeah. Next up is a DVD. Also been buying some the DVD, the movies you buy and where they come in the sleeves. So I picked up Young Frankenstein out of that. I know this is available on Blu-ray, but I don't think there'll be too much difference between the DVD and Blu-ray, honestly. Yeah, Young Frankenstein. Tropic Thunder, which is a complete addition to the collection. This, of course, is the director's cut. I don't think the theatrical cut is available on Blu-ray, but yeah. Next up is the Towering Inferno. I had I still have the Poseidon Adventure, the original version of that, and I had never seen the Towering Inferno, which was the film that Irwin Allen did right after the Poseidon Adventure, and was quite an interesting story about how this was the first movie to ever be made by two studios. And the interesting story is that this film was based on two books, and Irwin Allen had both books, but who owned the rights to them was Warner Brothers owned one book and 20th Century Fox owned the other book. And 20th Century Fox and Warner Brothers were not, shall we say, they didn't want to go over the budgets that they have allotted for those two stories. So Irwin Allen came up with the idea, well, why don't we just combine both your budgets, make one budget, Warner Brothers, you put up half, Fox, you put up the other half, and we'll just combine both stories into one story. And so, and it's an epically long movie. I think it's around 3 hours. It's quite a. I'm trying to see how long this is. It's like a really long movie. It was surprising how. 165 minutes. So that's 2 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah, so that's quite a lengthy film, but and of course throughout the month of February, stores put out the Valentine's movies. Now they have like the Oscar movies out, because Oscars is going on the night I'm filming this, and I've checked in to see. I haven't been watching it because because I could care less about the ceremony. All I care about is to see what won, but it's all political anyway. But picked up 16 Candles, and it's in this Valentine's slipcover, and there's the original DVD. Next up, I have yet to watch this one. I know I picked it up because it looked interesting to me. And it's Prisoners, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Hugh Jackman. I hadn't seen it yet, so be willing to check that one out. Now this one is a complete upgrade. So I put the DVD and the Blu Ray together, and it's the 2005 Poseidon remake. I don't care what anyone says. I do kind of like this movie, even though it is kind of bad at some points. But I always enjoyed this one. I thought it was a little bit. I liked the original movie. Don't get me wrong, but this one seemed to be a little bit better paced. The downside when they make these movies, they basically want to tell the same exact story, but kind of modernize things that really shouldn't be modernized, and Next up is Casino in the 1990s Best of the Decade slipcover. So there's the version without the slipcover. You can get these really cheap. I think these are like $10 at Target, because I think Target was exclusive to the Best of Universal 100th anniversary, I think, and so they put like the Best of the Decade series out. Next up, Disney's The Jungle Book. Finally, I got this. I missed the opportunity when it came out back in 2005 to own this on DVD. But the nice thing is, this is Disney going back to what they used to do. And because lately I've been disappointed with Disney Blu-rays. This one, however, is fairly good, and it's a decent transfer. It does have the old DVD features on it, as well as new features. So, yeah, it's really good. Plus, I liked watching that movie when I was a kid, so kind of missed out on, when it came out in 2005, because even back then, Disney DVDs were still quite pricey. Their Blu-rays are quite pricey, and it's like Disney is not willing to reduce the price on their stuff, but Also, they do it for a limited time, so, because that'll be out for, let's say, about 6 or 7 more months, then they'll put it back into the vault. Next up is an upgrade. I picked up, of course my printer's running out of ink, I picked up Hancock on Blu Ray. So I put it in a dual case, but yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. There's a lot of people that like it, and there's a lot of people that hate it. I really liked it because I liked the fact that it was kind of a take on Superman, but it was like if Superman didn't get any respect, and so he turned into a bum. Because one of the complaints is if you watch a Superman movie is that there's a whole lot of collateral damage, that buildings and property get destroyed, and there's no remorse to how many people that Superman took out just to save lives. But in this, they show the consequences of that. Like every time he goes to save the city or whatever, the public gets mad. They have several lawsuits pending against him, and so he ends up drunk and broke. Next up, and I really enjoyed this movie. I thought that this movie is deserving of the awards that it's getting. It already won the best visual effects. Matter of fact, I just looked it up. Because the Oscars is going on right now as I'm filming this video, and it's well deserving of the best visual effects because you actually believe that what is on screen is actually happening. And I'm talking about Gravity with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. As I'm watching the features, I didn't realize this is how good the visual effects were, that there's a point where actually through most of the film, most of it outside of except for a couple of things, most of it is computer animated. Now think of that. Is animated by somebody at a computer. It's not motion capture, except for a couple of things. Now think about that. It's not motion capture. It's completely digital artist behind the computer. And there is a few shots where Sandra Bullock and George Clooney actually did have to do some motion, but it was done in such a way that you couldn't be able to tell what was CG and what was real. So that's really cool. Next up is a documentary, Food Inc. If you've seen the movie Super Size Me, I would get this as well. So you kind of see what, it's not just McDonald's that's hurting us. It's also the whole companies, the whole supermarket. Not just the supermarket. I don't think it's the supermarkets, but it's the companies that actually make the food and process the food and what goes into the food. And as you can see, the barcode on here, you can probably guess what it's all going to be about. Next up, and I got this, and I think if I knew what was going to happen with the actor in this film, I don't think I would have gotten this film. But his performance in this movie was so phenomenal. I got this the weekend that Philip Seymour Hoffman died, and it's Doubt. And his performance, him and Meryl Streep in this movie give a phenomenal performance. And what goes on, and I'm sure if you've seen the movie, you know what this movie's about. I'm not going to go into what all that entails. Now the next two kind of go together, and I can't remember if I put this in a DVD update or not. But it's, again, I'm from Indiana, so you know the favorite team is going to be the Indianapolis Colts. Well, at our Meyer store, they have the Colts, The Complete History, which is a 2-disc set talking about both the Baltimore Colts and the Indianapolis Colts, and how it came from Baltimore over to Indianapolis. And sorry, Baltimore, but your city screwed up. You cannot blame Indianapolis. Do not blame the Ursays. It was you, Baltimore, that screwed up. It was your politicians that screwed up. So if you want to point the finger at somebody, you point the finger at them. Yeah, the Colts, The Complete History. And also, they still have these around, but they're incredibly overpriced, I think. It's Colts, The Road to Super Bowl 41. And what this has in it is 3 discs. And it's the 4 championship games, which includes the AFC Wild Card Playoff, starting with Kansas City, where they faced Kansas City. Disc 2 is the AFC Divisional Playoff, where they took on Baltimore. And Disc 3 is the AFC Championship, where they took on the New England Patriots. And then finally, you have Super Bowl 41, where they took on the Chicago Bears. So yeah, there you go. It's a 4-disc set, and it just has that, and behind it has the Colts logo. Got to put it back in the box. Next up, these are alright. They're 4 movie collections put out by Mill Creek, and it's specifically of films by Sony Pictures. And I got this mainly for one movie, and it's not that great of a movie. However, it did have a big hit song out of it. If you heard the song "You Are So Beautiful to Me," and I forget what version it is. I forget who sings it, but it's a legendary version of this song. The film was Modern Romance. This DVD set includes Mickey and Maude, starring Dudley Moore, Amy Irving, and Anne Rinkling. Hanky Panky, which stars Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner. Good. No, that's the poster. Sorry, that was the tagline. The film is "There's a Girl in My Soup," and who does that have in it? Oh, Peter Sellers, Goldie Hawn, and Donna Dores. Yeah. Then there's Modern Romance, which has Albert Brooks, Kathleen Harold, James L. Brooks, creator of The Simpsons, and George Kennedy. I mostly got it for Modern Romance because in the film, Albert Brooks plays a film editor working for AIP at the time, and they're making a film. It's a fictitious film. They're making a film in the film about, it's a space adventure, kind of a Star Wars knockoff, starring George Kennedy. And in the meantime, it's about this guy's love life and how he has this on-again, off-again relationship with this girl. And, they get together, they break up, they get back together, they break up. And it even says at the end of the movie, to kind of sum it all up, that that they had divorced. They get married, but then they got divorced and got remarried. So it's quite... it's quite an interesting romantic comedy. But I have yet to watch any of the other films, and these aren't. I mean, they're well worth it. I mean, $4 at Walmart. So, next up is another upgrade. Again, my printer is going out of ink, but it's Changeling with Angelina Jolie. Really, really good movie. Really upsetting movie. With the Angelina. The film is about Angelina Jolie, and she's a mother. She's a single mom. She's working a job at this phone company, working for the telephone company, and she one day ends up leaving her son at home. Her son goes wandering out and is kidnapped by some really sick people, and the corruption of the Los Angeles Police Department and how they just wanted to solve the case and get on with it, how they just found this boy that was lost and picked him up, brings him to L.A. And, of course, the boy was from Louisiana. So they say that they found this lost boy, so they ship him back, and immediately she recognizes that this isn't her son. And so the LAPD says, well, no, he is your son. That you don't recognize your own son? Maybe you need... And she keeps on him and on him. Eventually she gets put into the psych ward, and she ends up suing... She ends up taking on the Los Angeles Police Department, how they didn't do their job, and she demands that the police chief be demoted, the detective that was on the case, he be fired, and it all happens. But the story has kind of a sad note. I'm not going to say what that is. They don't know if her son... Well, I'll say this much. They don't know if her son's dead or alive. So, yeah, The Changeling. If you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. I mean, some people may have seen it by now, but go check it out. Next up, Captain Phillips, Tom Hanks, Paul Greengrass film. Yeah, good film. And it's... And here's the interesting thing. I remember when this happened, actually. I remember I was in college at the time, and we were reading... I was doing a basketball game for the radio station at the time, and I was bored. I was operating the soundboard at the time, and a buddy of mine who was there kind of co-training with me, we were getting on the internet, and all of us, and because the interesting thing is that we were talking about pirates. There was a joke about pirates that we had been joking around with, and then all of a sudden we pulled up the internet, and then we see that the headline read, "Pirates hijacked this ship, this cargo ship," and it was like, "What? You got to be kidding me!" And we're like, "There's still pirates?" But yeah, this is that story, and it's quite. I don't know what, I'd be kind of traumatized this actually happened, but I do remember this story happening. It took me a while to think about it, and then as I started watching the film, I realized, oh my gosh, I remember that. I remember reading about that. So now the last two, one of them I've watched, the other one I haven't watched yet. One is Body of Lies, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Russell Crowe, directed by Tony Scott. I've yet to watch this. If you know anything good about it, if you know anything about it, just leave a comment in the comment section. And Adventureland with Jesse Eisenberg and Ryan Reynolds and Bill Hader. And it also has the chick from Twilight. And yeah, I did watch this. It's kind of a goofy comedy about this kid working at an amusement park. Yeah, there's the DVD and Blu Ray update. Don't know when the next one's going to be. So, as a matter of fact, I don't even know when the movie of the week is going to be. don't even know what it's going to be. So I just, because there's still a lot of films I do want to talk about that, because I thought I'd done quite a few of them, and then realized that, oh my gosh, there's quite a few I haven't talked about yet. So, from me to you, see you later.